What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to do a video today on this 2013 Toyota Camry. This came in with a blower motor that was not functioning. Actually, what happened is they jumped the vehicle to get it started, and from that point on, the blower motor did not work. And so I don't know the exact cause, but basically my impression is that it was either hooked up incorrectly or maybe shorted at some time, or just something with the jump. Maybe the key was left on and it was tapped and sparked or whatever. But anyway, what I want to do first is check the fuse, and I've already done that, but I want to show you guys where that is and how to replace it. And then we're also just going to touch briefly on how to test your blower motor. So let's start with the fuse here. We're under the hood. And on this driver's side, you'll have your fuse panel, so you can take the cover off. And kind of unique on this vehicle, right here is your blower motor fuse. This is a multi-fuse block. I'll show you what that looks like out of the car. I can show you the old one here. So this slides right down in there like so, and then bolts on with this single 10mm nut right there. So the way you're going to remove this is unbolt your 10mm nut right there, and then you can actually slide this. Once that's off, you can slide this portion attached to this bracket here. You can slide that up, and so that it comes off of the stud and gets out of your way. So you'll just slide that up slightly, and then this will pull out. I put a needle nose pliers on it and just gently wiggled and pulled up. I was nervous at first that this eyelet was going to have a bolt going through it, but that's not the case. It's only held on by these spade connectors, and it just presses in. So once you have this nut off, you'll slide this plastic panel and bracket up out of your way slightly, and then you can pull this out. If you really need the extra space, you can unhook these 4 connectors here on the electrical, and then that'll give you enough room to get things way out of your way. I should add that taking off your negative battery cable would be a good idea, and I would also recommend making sure that your blower motor is turned off, and obviously your key is off. So that's it. You'll slide that back in. The part number is written right on the top of it. This is a Toyota number. It's 82620-33070. It's about $20. Standard makes the one that I've got here. And right there on the far end is your blower fuse. So if you're unsure if your blower fuse is bad, you can just look right over the back side here, and that far rearward fuse is the blower. So mine's actually blown again, and I'll explain why here in a sec. And this one is blown too. I'll try to focus on that. You can see the glass, or not the glass, but the plastic is kind of fogged, and our link is gone. So the other 4 fuses or 5 fuses are good. The 6th one on the back, closest to that bolt, is bad. Okay, so I wanted to touch briefly on blower motor testing, because what actually happened to me is I replaced the fuse, and as soon as I touched the battery to hook it back up, the fuse popped again for the blower. And so I went in, and sure enough, the blower was turned on. So what that told me is there's something in the blower circuit that's shorted, not only because that fuse blew, but because the blower was turned on. I think if the blower was turned off, it wouldn't have popped. So the blower was left on, sort of my mistake, but it wouldn't have made much difference. So what I ended up doing is, with my blower in the car, underneath the passenger side, under the glove box, there's just a black plastic cover. You can take that off. You'll unhook your spade connector right here. You just push the pin in, pull that spade connector out, and to test your blower motor, you'll put your digital voltmeter on ohms or on this continuity. I like that one because it beeps. So it's ohms with the beep function. And I'll just confirm that when I touch the two pins together, it does beep. So now what we're going to do is just check from the two large pins on each end of this connector, and we should not have continuity. But when I touch those, try to do it one-handed, it does have continuity. And also when I check each of those to this Phillips screw up on the top of the motor, because that's a good ground screw, each one also has continuity to ground. So that's telling me there's an internal short in our motor, and that's what was causing it to blow. Was as soon as I would turn the blower on, it knew that power was shorted to ground, and that's bad. And so the fuse popped. So I've got my new blower here, and I'll just do the same check here to prove it. When we go from spade to spade, there's no beep. And then each one to ground, no beep, and no beep. So that's a good motor. There should be no continuity between the two large terminals or either of those terminals to ground. So we'll get that back in, new fuse in, and we should be all set. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, make sure to let me know down in the comments, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe as always, and I'll see you on the next video.